Have you ever looked around after turning 60 and quietly asked yourself, who's really going to be there when life gets tough? When we're younger, the answer seems obvious. Our family, our closest friends, the people who've stood by us for decades. But something shifts with age. After 60, life starts to change in subtle but profound ways. People get busy, priorities evolve. The very support system we believed would always be rock solid begins to feel uncertain. I've seen it over and over again, not just with clients, but in my own life. It's not that people stop caring. It's that life gets complicated. Children grow up, friends move away, and suddenly the people you thought you could count on might not be there in the ways you expected. This video isn't about pushing anyone away. It's about facing reality with open eyes and building a foundation that doesn't waver, no matter what life brings. I want to walk you through 6 powerful pillars, 6 sources of strength that, in my experience, become even more dependable than family as we age. These aren't abstract ideas, they're practical, personal, and deeply empowering. Stick with me until the end, because understanding these 6 pillars might just change the way you view support forever. And once you embrace them, I truly believe you'll never feel powerless, alone, or unprepared again. Let's begin. Have you ever asked yourself, if everything suddenly fell apart tomorrow, would your finances be strong enough to carry you through without anyone else stepping in? As someone who has worked with retirees for over 2 decades, I can tell you this: the most loyal form of support you'll ever have isn't another person, it's your financial independence. Now, don't get me wrong, money won't solve every problem, but after 60, it becomes your shield. It gives you the freedom to make decisions, the peace of mind to sleep at night, and the confidence to face life without fear of becoming a burden. I've seen too many people like Richard, a 72-year-old client, who built his life around the idea that his children would be there financially if things went south. He'd always been generous, paid for college, helped with down payments, lent money when times were tough. But when an unexpected medical issue wiped out his savings, he turned to his kids, only to find that they were juggling their own bills, mortgages, and families. It wasn't that they didn't love him, they simply couldn't help. And that's when it hit him. What he thought was a safety net was actually thin air. That's why I believe wholeheartedly that financial stability isn't about being rich, it's about being ready. It's about having a clear plan for emergencies, a steady stream of income you can rely on, and the knowledge to manage your money in a way that supports, not stresses, you. Ask yourself right now, do I have enough set aside for an emergency? Is my retirement income reliable? Have I protected myself from financial risks? If your answer is anything less than a confident yes, it's time to act. Learn to budget wisely, cut out unnecessary debt, and focus your spending on things that protect your future, not just comfort your present. Because at the end of the day, your financial foundation is the one pillar that never takes a sick day, never moves away, and never leaves you behind. What if I told you that the most powerful tool you have to protect your independence after 60 isn't your family, your finances, or your friendships, but your own body? As someone who's worked with older adults for years, I can tell you this: your physical health becomes either your greatest ally or your biggest roadblock. You can have a secure retirement account, loving children, even a strong social circle. But if your body begins to fail, all of that becomes harder to enjoy or even access. I've seen too many people assume someone else will step in when their health declines. My kids will help, they say. But the truth is, your children may care deeply and still not have the time, energy, or resources to care for you full-time. And when that moment comes, it hits hard. You don't just lose physical freedom, you start to lose confidence, dignity, and joy. Take Carl, a 68-year-old client of mine who once lived an active, vibrant life. After retiring, he let things slide. Less movement, more convenience food, fewer checkups. At first it seemed harmless, but over time, he started losing mobility and energy. Tasks that once took minutes became exhausting. His kids loved him dearly, but they couldn't be there every day. And he felt it, the loneliness, the frustration, the regret. That's when he decided, enough. He didn't aim to be a bodybuilder. He just made small, consistent changes. Walking daily, eating for fuel, not comfort, taking health concerns seriously. And slowly, his life began to change. He didn't just feel better, he felt capable again. You don't have to train like an athlete, but you do have to show up for your body. Every walk you take, every healthy meal you eat, every doctor's appointment you stop postponing, these are acts of love for your future self. So ask yourself, are you treating your health like the sacred foundation it truly is? Or are you hoping someone else will save you when things get tough? Because at the end of the day, your strongest support system isn't your children, your friends, or even your doctor. It's your own ability to stay strong, active, and in control. And the time to start is now. Not next year, not next month, now. What if I told you that the real threat to your health after 60 isn't just illness or injury? It's loneliness. As someone who's worked closely with older adults for years, I've seen how isolation can quietly creep in and take a bigger toll than most people expect. It often starts slowly. Friends move away, loved ones pass on, and family gets busier. Before you know it, the circle that once surrounded you starts to shrink. And suddenly you're spending more time waiting for a phone call than actually having conversations. You might think, my children will keep me company. And yes, they love you, but they also have full plates, jobs, kids, responsibilities that demand their attention. That doesn't mean they don't care. It just means they can't always be there, which is why building and maintaining your own social network is not a luxury, it's a lifeline. I remember Margaret, a 73-year-old woman I once coached. For years, her sons were her main source of companionship. But over time, visits became less frequent, and the silence between calls grew longer. At first, she felt forgotten, but then she took a brave step. She joined a local community center, reached out to old friends, and even started a book club. Within months, her life was filled with laughter, meaningful conversations, and a sense of purpose she hadn't felt in years. Strong friendships don't just brighten your day, they protect your emotional health, sharpen your mind, and even extend your life. Whether it's a neighbor you wave to, a coffee buddy, or a group that shares your interests, every connection counts. So ask yourself honestly, who do you have in your life right now that lifts you up, checks in, or simply makes you smile? If that list is shorter than it used to be, it's time to grow it. You are never too old to make new friends, and you are never too busy to nurture the ones you already have. Because at the end of the day, your social circle isn't just about avoiding loneliness. It's about creating a life filled with joy, connection, and the kind of companionship that sustains you through every chapter ahead. What if I told you that one of the strongest forms of support you'll ever have after 60 isn't another person? It's waking up every morning with a reason why. Now, I want to speak to you not just as someone who studies aging, but as someone who's walked beside many people in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, people who've quietly asked themselves, what now? You see, when we retire or our children no longer need us in the same way, something shifts inside. The roles that once gave our lives meaning, being a parent, a provider, a caregiver, begin to fade. And if we're not careful, so does our sense of identity. The truth is, no matter how deeply your family loves you, they can't give you purpose. That has to come from within. And the older we get, the more vital it becomes, not just for our happiness, but for our health, our mental sharpness, and our emotional stability. Let me share a story. George, a retired engineer I once coached, was excited to finally have time for himself. But after a few months, the novelty wore off. The quiet became too loud. He told me, I feel like the days just blend together. And that's the risk. When you lose purpose, life starts to feel like it's happening to you instead of through you. So we made a change. George began volunteering at a local school, teaching kids how to build things, passing on his knowledge, yes, but more importantly, reigniting his why. He found joy again, not in being needed, but in being useful. Purpose doesn't have to be big or public. It could be mentoring someone, learning a new skill, growing a garden, painting, traveling, or even just writing a journal every morning. It's not about impressing others. It's about doing something that makes you feel alive. If you've been feeling like the most meaningful part of your life is behind you, I promise it's not. Your sense of purpose doesn't retire just because you do. It evolves. And the more you nurture it, the less you'll need to rely on anyone else to feel whole. Because at the end of the day, the most powerful support isn't someone holding your hand. It's that fire inside you that keeps pushing you forward, no matter what. Here's a hard truth most people avoid talking about. After 60, life doesn't get easier. It just asks different questions. The only way to answer them is from within. I say this not just as someone who studies aging, but as someone who sat with countless people in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, watching them navigate loss, loneliness, and change. And the one thing that determines whether someone thrives or crumbles? Emotional resilience. It's your inner strength, your ability to feel pain without being destroyed by it, to adapt, to breathe through heartache, and to find hope again, even when life doesn't go the way you expected. Many people believe their children, siblings, or friends will always be there to lean on. And while that sounds comforting, it's not always realistic. The truth is, everyone has their own struggles, their own lives, their own emotional limits. Take Helen, a 75-year-old widow I worked with. She lost her husband after 40 years of marriage. At first, she turned to her children for comfort, and they were there, as much as they could be. But as time went on, she realized something. The emptiness inside couldn't be filled by someone else's presence. She had to build her own path through the grief. So she did. She joined a local support group. She began journaling. She practiced gratitude every single day, and slowly her strength returned. Not because the pain disappeared, but because she stopped waiting for someone to fix it. She learned to carry it with grace. That's what emotional resilience is. It's not about pretending to be okay. It's not about bottling up your feelings. It's about allowing yourself to feel fully, then finding ways to keep going anyway. Therapy, meditation, journaling, prayer, creative expression. These aren't luxuries. They're lifelines. Tools that help you process what you're feeling so it doesn't consume you. Because here's the thing, you are the one person who will walk with you through every loss, every setback, and every beautiful moment too. And when you build that deep emotional foundation, you'll never feel completely broken, no matter what life throws your way. So ask yourself, what helps you stay grounded when life shakes you? If you don't have that answer yet, it's time to start exploring it. Emotional strength isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, one honest, healing moment at a time. What if I told you that the single greatest advantage you have after 60 isn't your savings, your health, or even your relationships, but something far more powerful and often overlooked? As someone who's spent years working with older adults navigating life transitions, I've seen one truth rise above all others. Adaptability is survival. After 60, the world around you doesn't slow down. It shifts. Friends move away, loved ones pass on, technology races forward, and the roles you've held for decades start to fade. It's easy to feel like life is moving without you. And here's the hard part. Many people get stuck trying to hold on to the past. They say, that's how I've always done it, and close the door on change. But in my experience, the people who thrive in their 60s, 70s, and beyond are the ones who choose to remain open, to learning, to evolving, to becoming someone new. Think about Frank, a 78-year-old I once met during a community workshop. For years, he relied on weekly in-person gatherings with lifelong friends. But when most of them either moved or passed on, he found himself sinking into loneliness. He could have given up. Instead, he did something remarkable. He learned how to use video calls to stay in touch with distant family. He joined an online history group, and in doing so, he didn't just adapt. He grew. He found new friendships and rediscovered his voice. Being adaptable doesn't mean giving up who you are. It means expanding who you can become. Your ability to adapt is more than a skill. It's a lifeline. It allows you to shift with grace when life throws you a curveball, to discover purpose where you least expect it, and to stay connected in a world that's always evolving. So if you're holding on to routines or relationships that no longer serve you, ask yourself, is it time to open a new door? Because the truth is, change is going to come whether you're ready or not. But how you respond, that's entirely up to you. And the more you embrace that power, the more fulfilled, connected, and free you'll feel in this next chapter of life. What if the key to a secure and fulfilling life after 60 isn't found in others, but within yourself? As we reach 60 and beyond, we often expect that the ones we love will always be there to support us. But here's the truth. True stability doesn't come from waiting for others to come to your rescue. It comes from the foundation you build for yourself. Financial independence, physical health, a strong social network, a sense of purpose, emotional resilience, and adaptability. These are the pillars that truly hold you up when the world starts to change around you. Your family will always hold a special place in your heart, but they too have their own lives to live. When you rely solely on others for support, you place your well-being in the hands of factors you can't control. But when you take charge of your own security, you step into a place of power, a place where you are not just surviving, but thriving. No one can truly guarantee your stability like you can. Your financial stability ensures you're not burdening others, your health keeps you independent, and your purpose keeps you energized and engaged with life. Emotional resilience will help you navigate the inevitable storms, and adaptability will ensure that no matter how life changes, you remain open and strong. So, as you embrace this new chapter, ask yourself, do I have these pillars in place? Because once you do, you will no longer feel powerless or unprepared. You'll walk through life with confidence, knowing that no matter what happens, you are ready to stand strong for yourself. Thank you for joining me today. I'd love to hear from you. What's the one pillar you're going to focus on to ensure you're building a stronger foundation for the years to come? Your thoughts are truly valuable to me, so please share them below. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share so we can continue growing and supporting one another in this journey.